So you can see that shoe in your space.
Netherlands as a country has made work from home as a right of the employees.
You can actually go all, put your phone very close to it, see the stitch lines, see even the fabric level detail, and then hit buy.
I want to know, we discussed that the technology, although in the nascent stage, is still somewhat convincingly real. Right? I want to move towards what corporates and companies and brands are doing in the metaverse as of now. What are the existing use cases that you have seen in this space? Any particular company example or technology example you want to take to maybe bring the topic forth to the interested audience so that they can look into it in further detail? Mani, do you particularly follow this space for the use cases?
Yeah, very deeply, because it's a bread and butter. So, I think corporates are, the tech corporates especially, and, if you talk about a company like 𝐋𝐚𝐭𝐿, their job is to sell technology. So in order to sell technology, the people selling technology should know the technology. So, it's not a very convincing case if I get a high-flown executive or a consultant come to me, explain what VR is, but he himself hasn't used it. It may work in the case of multi-billion-dollar ERP, because we all know he will not use the ERP. But that in order for you to have that convincing sale, you should have used it yourself. So as a result, a lot of tech companies have immersed their employees in two major use cases. One is employee engagement, as well as the case of what we call mindfulness. So during COVID, we had a lot of people just getting depressed because it was a completely different immersion you're in. You're locked in your homes. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know whether your money is going to be intact, whether currencies are going to hold. So people were going through these depressive cycles, and the only way, the Zoom kind of mindfulness was not engaging enough, because your mind would very quickly tell you you're staring into a screen. So a lot of these big tech companies said, what is $200? Let's just ship this. We are shipping laptops, we are shipping devices, iPads. Let's ship this headset. So a lot of people put on the headsets, and then they had the dollars with them to get these spiritual gurus, and you suddenly see the spiritual guru or the avatar of the spiritual guru telling you how to do pranayam, or telling you how to do some kind of meditation, and that's a life-altering experience, because then suddenly you have some loyalty towards this company, saying that this company truly cares for me and cares for my mental health. The other thing that people realized is that a lot of people were joining and leaving companies without physically meeting employees, and companies couldn't take that risk of, because in late 2020, when there were certain open ups, we had a second spike happen in the US. So a lot of companies said, okay, we will do employee engagement. We realized that Zoom is not the right way to do it. So let's have virtual concerts, or we have the money to bring in the celebrities. Let's have virtual meeting spaces. So these were two use cases that actually helped a lot of these naysayers, or helped a lot of the people sitting on the fence to actually switch over and become believers. And because we're a part of the VR Association, we've seen that after these big corporate events happened, suddenly the sale of how it was being translated in the enterprise sales, or the adoption of it within their circles, if they were trying to do some kind of VR use case within their company, that just shot up, because after doing these employee engagement and mindfulness routines, people really started believing in the platform. Just like Aditya Chawla and me, we've both done it once, multiple times, and then we start believing in it, even though we know it's not real.
Yeah, very interesting use case. I wasn't thinking that you would bring up mindfulness as the first use case, but yes, I do remember, like in my previous stint, right, there were some efforts being made, especially towards mindfulness, where there were spiritual gurus as that. It just reminded me of the whole exercise that I went through. Other use cases, while you were saying, right, I was thinking of maybe there is onboarding, as you said, that people do not really meet each other before joining. So there is onboarding, there is training sessions. We all work with the same principle, right? You do not feel as engaged when you're staring at a 2D screen, but in a metaverse, I think the experience is different. So Yash, I want to know your thoughts on this particular use case of, say, training sessions or onboarding, as to how that would affect the corporate space where, thousands of people just join in and leave on a regular basis.
I would just like to mention one more thing here. We have just seen that Netherlands as a country has made work from home as a right of the employees, which is a very revolutionary kind of a stage after the COVID. So a lot of countries and a lot of companies may follow this and will have to do a work from home permanently. So in this kind of a situation, what about team bonding? We had, when I joined this thing, the first, I still, my some of my closest friends are the friends which I made during the induction time. So they're still, because we feel that kind of connect. But if there is work from home permanently, how do you actually make that connect happen? So as you are rightly saying, Aditya Chawla, that how in this thing here the induction and the training will be very important, because you will be working from home permanently, and at least your avatar, how do you, because you, how do you actually connect with him? So the bonding will be very something which will be missing in the whole team. So for that, I think metaverse as a space will play a very important role. So metaverse, bonding, the team, because you see a lot of things called as team meetings, team outings and all these things. So all these things for HR will play a very important role when it comes to metaverse. So the induction for the whole batch, they can come, the HR can actually make them play some games, make them do some team activities, and that will be very important going forward, to have that bond and that kind of loyalty towards the company, which is very important. Recruitment, we are seeing it is already happening through a metaverse. A lot of companies are calling their Zoom interviews. You have already heard. Now this has already transferred into metaverse meetings, and now the inductions and all trainings and team meetings will also happen in that kind of way, where the bonding will play a very important role.
Yeah, I mean, this. I was just talking to a friend of mine who shifted to Amsterdam for her new role, and she was talking about the company did an entire what do you say, walkthrough, and the recruitment or the onboarding rather took them 4 days, 5 days just to walk through the entire campus. It was a huge manufacturing setup, and then safeties and the science R&D lab, all of that. They had to go through so much hassle to arrange temporary access to restricted zones and all of that. I mean, and then this just struck me when we were talking about onboarding, that maybe an entire campus can be replicated on the metaverse, and the onboarding without access issues, just for awareness and knowledge and interaction, can all be done, especially for companies that are working with high-end technology, a lot of patents. The next thing I want to talk about is the biggest opportunity that I see in the metaverse space, which is advertising. And advertising in the real space itself is huge, right? So I wanna know from Mani that what do you think? And I think 𝐍𝐞𝐰𝐬 also kind of fits there, the company that you run, right? In this particular space. So I want to know your thoughts on advertising in metaverse, especially.
Yeah, so you spoke about the case where the employee actually walks through the copy of the office, and it's very important to understand it from a sensitivity point of view, from a design thinking point of view. Suppose you work for a oil company, they often take you to the oil rig, even though you are a software programmer, because they want you to develop that kind of sensitivity and understand what is it that the person feels and what is it that the person on the job feels. So you can recreate that with what you call a digital twin of the campus, or you can do a digital twin of the building. Similarly, you can do digital twins of items. So what I was trying to come to is basically like, we do digital twins of clothing. You can do a digital twin of a shoe. So you can see that shoe in your space. You can actually go all, put your phone very close to it, see the stitch lines, see even the fabric level detail, and then hit buy. So what is it that you're doing now? You're actually seeing that 3D object on your living room table or on your dining table. You can see that shoe, but the shoe is not going to dirty your dining table because it's a virtual shoe. So you can go real close, see the shoe, and you can hit buy, and you are actually augmenting physical sales. So effectively what you're doing is you're doing ad tech. You're doing immersive ad tech. But in addition to that, what is also emerging is the concept that you can buy the digital twin. So I have bought a physical Nike shoe, and the physical Nike shoe is going to come to me. But you know what? I feel I have right to the digital Nike shoe, which I want to wear in Spatial or I want to wear in Engage. Because, you know, I've spent 10,000 rupees. So I think I deserve a digital twin. The other thing could be, I want to buy the digital twin and I want to get a discount on the real shoe. Both the use cases are being played out in the fashion and in the apparel market, where, you know, some people say that, you know, buying a digital product will give you a discount to a physical product, or someone says that buying a physical product will give you an automatic copy, a digital twin copy, which is available that you can take into a virtual world where, you know, when you're hanging out with your friends, you can wear that expensive Gucci jacket. And it could be an aspirational case as well. So I cannot afford a real Gucci jacket in real life, but, you know, I can spend $20 because I feel I would like to wear Gucci in virtual reality, or I'd like to wear Gucci on my social media, you know, on my photographs on social media, because there are services out there that will take my physical photograph, put Gucci clothing onto it, and I can share it with friends and family. And this has a great use case with, you know, fan engagement. So, you know, many times we buy a Spider-Man suit or we buy a Mumbai Indians shirt, but you wear it once in a year or twice in a year when you're wearing that, you know, playing that game. You don't have to buy it. You can just put it on and share it on social media. And that's all the use cases. Basically, you're sharing with friends that I support Mumbai Indians.
Yeah, I think very well put, the way people would be visually seeing products or interacting with virtual products or digital twins. And I think the concept of digital twins started when the biggest names like Nike, Adidas, all of these started creating digital twins for the shoes, right? And some of the digital twins were actually more expensive than the ones in the physical space. So that was interesting.